Psalm 50. The mighty God, even the Lord, hath spoken, and called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down thereof. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, God hath shined. Our God shall come, and shall not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above, and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And the heavens shall declare his righteousness. God is judge himself, Selah. Hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel. And I will testify against thee. I am God, even thy God. I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices or thy burnt offerings, to have been continually before me. I will take no bullock out of thy house, nor he-goats out of thy folds. For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee. For the world is mine, and the fullness thereof. Will I eat the flesh of bulls, or drink the blood of goats? Offer unto God thanksgiving, and pay thy vows unto the Most High, and call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. But unto the wicked God saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldst take my covenant in mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee. When thou sawest a thief, and thou consentedst with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers, thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself, but I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thine eyes. Now consider this, ye that forget God, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. Whoso offereth praise glorifieth me, and to him that ordereth his conversation aright will I show the salvation of God.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutation to the hopeful leg out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful leg, the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah. And what I want to get into today, all right, is that he never keep it at home, because, you had the latest incident, over there, in Jordan, all right, where U.S. military, base was attacked. He had 3 killed, 30 plus wounded. And it all goes back to the devil, okay, being over the earth, and just dominating the earth militarily, man. And what we're witnessing in the earth is Esau, the Lord is taking the spirit, all right, off these nations to fear Esau and his rulership, okay, because it's time for the devil to come down. See, when it was time for Esau to rule, the Lord put the fear of these nations, okay, the Lord put the spirit of these nations to fear Esau, okay, and pretty much they was in a position of submissiveness. Now we're seeing a rebellion, okay, from the smallest militant groups, to these other superpowers of the earth. What we're seeing is rebellion, but it's beginning with these small militant groups, and it's going to lead to these superpowers stepping in, all right, and completely destroying America, man. Okay, so let's get that real quick. Um, in Job. All right, then got a couple of videos I want to get into. All right, so let's get this in the book of Job, chapter 20. All right, there's the book of Job, chapter 20, verse 4. It says, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Okay, and from the Renaissance period to now, Renaissance going to rebirth, the wicked has triumphed. Okay, this man has dominated the earth. Okay, militarily, economically. Okay, religiously. His false religion. Being the top religion, his influence. Okay, he has dominated the earth. He has triumphed over the earth because it was his time. All right, and like we speak on, man, when it's your time to rule, the Lord, okay, puts the spirit on the people to be submissive to you for your rulership, man. But when it's time for you to come down, the Lord puts the spirit of rebellion, all right, on the people that you rule over, man. And this is what we're seeing happening, man. Okay, I was just watching a documentary on Netflix going into Alexander, okay, the Greek, and it shows that it was a spirit on Alexander, man, to take down the Persian Empire because it was prophecy, man. When you look at that documentary, everything that you see Alexander doing, he was prophesied to do. That prophecy was with him. It wasn't because he was a military genius and he was lucky. Yeah, he was smart. He was a smart military general, but the Lord groomed him for the sake of prophecy, man. Okay, that's why really we can't take credit for anything, man. It's all through Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. Okay, just as the scriptures say, the saints are going to take the kingdom. All right, we can't boast in that, man. That's because that's what the Lord wants. All right, and right now we're in a time where we seeing the triumphing of the wicked. All right, getting ready to end. Okay, the joy of the hypocrite, but for a moment, because here it is. These devils have killed tens of thousands of Palestinian civilians. Okay, but then you killed 3 U.S. soldiers, and now this is a cause for war. Okay, but then they present themselves as if they're just so humanitarian and they care about peace and they're doing these things to establish peace, man. But they are very hypocritical, man. you know. But hey, that reign reign of the wicked is short. All right, and we're at the end of it. Okay, so let's see. Let's go here to the first video. Get this queued up.
The government of Bashar, like they're putting them.
So yeah, I'm gonna just play the last few minutes of this video, okay? And it goes into all right, U.S. military presence in their region, You know, how they're not wanted out there. You know, those nations continue to complain of U.S. military being in their region. Okay, I think in Afghanistan you have over 1 million complaints about U.S. military, man. Okay, in their region, man. Okay, so he's going to expound on a few things, and then we'll get into some more precepts.
With paragraphs written by the United States under the assumption that Iran would be the party in non-compliance. Iran is withdrawing from its obligations, until which time the United States and Europe abide by their commitments. Iran is violating no law. They're doing what they're permitted to do under Article 4. They're doing that which they would be permitted to do when the JCPOA reached maturity in any event. So this is not a push for nuclear weapons. This is David Albright, providing a background chorus, so to speak, for Benjamin Netanyahu's ongoing song of war against Iran.
I think that's fascinating, background chorus, because I found the timing of this to be pretty interesting, right? At the moment we hear Iranian-backed groups attack American soldiers in these bases, which, by the way, why do we have so many of these bases scattered around in these illegally occupied areas, whether it's Syria or Jordan or all over the place, right? Even in the New York Times, the Biden administration has admitted that, it's only a matter of time before American forces in these regions are targeted or hit. Well, shocking. They've been telling us for years they don't want us there. Why are we in these areas illegally in the first place? So it's only a matter of time when the Biden administration admits this. They're sitting ducks. It's almost like they're putting them out there on purpose as decoy pigeons or something, waiting for these Iranian-backed groups to attack us, and that's a justification for us to do something to Iran. Am I wrong about that? Maybe it's just my cynical nature.
Well, in this case, remember the Biden administration inherited this forced posture. This is something that began under the Obama administration. Of course, Biden was the vice president, but it was continued under Trump. This is an American policy, not a Biden policy, and it's a policy that makes no sense. But the United States, we project force into regions under very dubious claims of legitimacy. We have no legitimacy to be on Syrian territory. We claim it's because we're seeking to destroy ISIS. But if you take a look at the Al-Tanf area 55, I think they call it, we're there to actually use ISIS-affiliated Syrian tribal groups against the Syrian government. This is about, destabilizing the government of Bashar al-Assad as part of a larger policy of regime change, again, which Biden has inherited from Trump, who inherited it from Obama. And it's a policy that has gone, it basically, they've stopped actively pursuing it. So they're there doing nothing. That's the point I want to make. American forces are in this position illegally on Syrian territory, illegally. Everything they do is a war crime by definition. They're there with no mission, no viable mission. They've become nothing more than targets, not because the Biden administration wanted them to be targets, but because the Biden administration doesn't have the courage to do a policy review and say there's no reason for continued American presence. See, Americans, the government, we view it as a sign of weakness, right? If we say, oh, maybe it's time to get out. Oh, no, you'll be attacked this week. And of course, Biden is running for president. He doesn't want to be seen as weak. The weakest thing an American president can do is allow American soldiers to die for no justification, no just cause. Joe Biden is the weakest president imaginable, because not only have 3 American soldiers died, 34 wounded, but now he's talking about carrying out acts of retaliation that could expand this conflict. And if David Albright and Netanyahu get their way, it would mean a general war with Iran. And here's the kicker, which we would lose. We're not going to win this war.
So those nations, all right, those regions of the earth don't even want America over there. Okay? And now what we're seeing is the Lord putting the spirit on these nations to actually fight, man. To actually be emboldened. All right. So what we're seeing with these strikes on military bases, U.S. military bases, is years, okay, of oppression of the U.S. military in this region, man. Okay, as you've seen the video, yeah, the citizens throwing rocks at the military vehicles that they come through. They're not welcome there, man. And see, people are, like I say, people are just joining the military and they're being shipped and deployed into these hot zones, and they don't have a clue of what's going on. All right, Jake don't know what's going on, especially Jake, man. Jake don't have a clue of what's going on in the world. All right, but you're just being shipped all throughout the earth in all these hot zones, man. Okay, America, all right, has the most enemies globally, man. Okay, and now these nations have the military hardware, okay, to start doing something, man. Okay, now I want to get this video right quick, all right, to show, okay, how their region is just flooded, okay, with when they say resistance groups, it's resistance to the West, man, mainly those small hats in America, man. When you hear about the axis of resistance, okay, and speaking about small hats in America, man, okay, which have been nothing but a terror in that region, man. Okay, so he's gonna show a map down the line in the video. I want to pause it and just show you how much tension is in that region, man. Okay, and you still got Americans getting on planes going to that region. All right. Hold on. So lock it and pull it back up. See what it play.
If you're turning 65, thinking about retiring, or have questions about Medicare.
Yeah, so it's gonna play a commercial, but after the commercial is gonna go into a video. All right, dealing with those different resistance groups in their region.
In the region in the spotlight. One of those groups, Keepeth Hezbollah, has recently told its forces to cease operations against the U.S., though the Pentagon says that actions speak louder than words. This is after months of probing attacks from these groups against U.S. bases in the region. The Islamic Resistance in Iraq, an umbrella group made up of various Iranian-backed paramilitary groups operating in Iraq, has released more than 40 videos since the start of the Israel-Hamas war showing attempted attacks against U.S. bases in the region. The vast majority of these videos show the armed groups launching drones from various locations, mostly at night, to more easily avoid detection. While the Pentagon says it's still investigating, these are believed to be the same kinds of drones used in this most recent attack, which left 3 U.S. soldiers dead and many more wounded. The Islamic Resistance took credit for multiple attacks on U.S. bases in Iraq, Syria, and Jordan the same day as the deadly Jordan attack. This includes what they called Al-Rukban base, which is another name for the U.S. base in Jordan. The Islamic Resistance in Iraq is not the only group in the region that's backed by Iran and shown hostility to the U.S. forces, though. A recent analysis from the Council on Foreign Relations put the number of notable Iran-backed groups in the region at 12. With the majority of them.
All right, so you see, you ever hear about, Iran has an axis of resistance, okay, in the region. Well, this is what they're speaking of, okay. Like I said, you have all these militant groups, okay, in this region. Then you have all these U.S. military bases in these regions, man, and ultimately they're sitting ducks, man, because they're alone. All right, and of course the American, can go into an all-out war, okay. But if they go into an all-out war with militant groups, Okay, they're going to exhaust a lot of resources. They're going to exhaust a lot of soldiers. Okay, and they're going to be weakened because it's not going to be, okay, those wars of previous time where America just been able to have its way. Okay, this is going to be a completely different war, and we know according to prophecy, America loses. Now, America is not going to be overthrown by these resistant groups. Okay, but what we're seeing is just an emboldened, okay, of the resistance of the American regime. Okay, because the triumphing of the wicked is short, man, and this is going to lead to Iran finally getting involved, then Russia, then China, and then that's going to be the end of America, man. Okay, but we're seeing America just being dragged into these conflicts, man, and these nations moving fearless, man. Okay, they're Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, Palestine. Then you got Iran at the back, okay, with their real firepower, man. Okay,
being in Syria and Iraq, countries where the U.S. has a large military footprint. Those in Iraq include forces like Keepeth Hezbollah, a paramilitary force closely aligned with Iran. While this group has strayed away from announcing any direct attacks against the U.S., it's mostly just threatened them. It has shown support for the Islamic resistance in Iraq. An analysis from the Washington Institute for Near East Policy said it's highly likely that Keepeth Hezbollah is simply operating under that group's brand. When a U.S. strike killed a fighter affiliated with the Islamic resistance in Iraq in November, he was identified as being both part of Keepeth Hezbollah as well as part of the Islamic resistance in Iraq. It's this same group that the U.S. suspects was responsible for this recent strike in Jordan.
In terms of attribution for the attack, we know this is an IRGC-backed militia. It has the footprints of Keepeth Hezbollah, but not making a final assessment on that. Our teams here are continuing to do the analysis, but we know that Iran is behind it.
There are plenty of Iran-aligned groups in Syria that U.S. forces have to be wary of as well. Groups in Syria have mostly focused on limited attacks on Al-Tanf, a U.S. base in southern Syria meant to support local Syrian opposition forces and deny Iran access to a strategic route to Damascus. American forces in both Al-Tanf as well as bases in northeastern Syria have recently been targeted by the Islamic resistance in Iraq group. While the Pentagon says Sunday's attack on U.S. troops in Jordan is the first attack in the country since the Israel-Hamas war began, the Islamic resistance of Iraq has made at least 3 additional claims that they attacked what they say is the U.S. base at Rukban in Jordan. So far, Iran has denied any involvement in the deadly attack against the U.S. base in Jordan, saying that regional groups do not take direct orders from Iran. Jay Godin, Scripps News, Washington.
so yeah, and what you just have is you see prophecy playing out when you go here to, let's get this in the book of Habakkuk 2, and then we'll jump back to Habakkuk 1. All right. And I say prophecy is working against this devil, man. Okay. So we're going to see this man catch a lot of L's, all right, on his way out the door. Okay. So let's get this in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1. All right. And all those military bases are going to be sitting ducks, man. Okay. Especially when Iran gets involved, because Iran, has the firepower to obliterate those bases, okay, quickly. All right. This is on the book of Job. I'm just like the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 5. It says, yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man. And see, we have to understand that Esau is in the peak of his pride. And one thing, when you're proud, you get comfortable. And when you get comfortable and complacent, okay, you become vulnerable. Whenever you get comfortable and complacent, you become vulnerable. And this is where Esau Edom is. Okay, beginning with America, man, which has been the hammer for these elites. Okay, it says because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keep it at home. who enlarges his desire as hell. And it says he neither keepeth at home. Okay? And you go, all right, into where this man has all these military bases, man. Okay? Let's see. Pull up a map. See if you can pull up an image real quick. Pull up. All right, so let's look at this. Let me blow it up and share it. All right, so you look at America's military bases, okay, all over Africa. All right, see if you can see it. They're all over Africa, Turkey, and see what you got over here in the borders of Russia, everywhere in India, Europe. And see, the one thing about it, you see this this red, it represents an air base. And when this war really kicks off, and Turkey, because see, when war kicks off, all right, because right now America has personnel all throughout these different regions. But when war kicks off, and most of these regions side with Russia, these countries side with Russia, that American military personnel is finished. Okay? Everything that this devil did to establish his kingdom is going to work against him at the end. Okay? All these military bases, okay, throughout the earth, all right, and especially in this region, okay, the Middle East and Europe and what they would call Eastern Asia, okay, or Asia Minor over here in Turkey, all right, and a lot of these nations they gonna defect to Russia, man, all right, and the military that spread out in America military, spread so thin, they can't fight a war on all these different fronts, man. Okay, and then they don't have the personnel. Now they got the equipment, but they don't have the personnel. Okay, and they stand a chance, all right, of losing a lot of personnel in these conflicts in this region, man. That's why they're so hesitant to escalate. Okay, this is Habakkuk 2:5. It said, yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, he's a proud man. And the devil looks at how he has influenced the earth, how he has dominated the earth, because that wine goes into your doctrine. Okay. And what does wine do? What does strong drink do? It puts an influence on you. Okay. And this man has been able to dominate the earth with his influence. All right. In the military, man. And by these things, he has become a proud man and said, neither keep it at home, who enlarges his desires hell and his death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations and heaping unto him all people, man. And that map shows you, because those military bases are garrisons, man. Okay, pretty much to enforce, okay, the American hegemony. All right, and the hegemony is when one nation, has influence and sway over other nations, man, or other people. Okay, so when America puts sanctions and different things on these different countries, well, these countries, abide because this man already has military personnel in their region. Okay, now America is an empire, man, but what's happening? We're seeing a rebellion against this empire. Habakkuk 2 and 6 shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, saying, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that laid himself with thick clay. So now we're seeing, all right, a taunting proverb against this devil, man. Okay? These nations are tired of living impoverished while America parlays off their resources, man. Okay? You see those African nations kicking out, those different regimes, the different puppet leaders, that's backed by the West. Okay, Africa's, those African nations are starting to ask, like, how are we so impoverished, but we're so rich in resources, man? Okay, they're starting to side with Russia. You see, so this is what we're seeing happening, man. It says, shall not they rise up suddenly, that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land of the city, and all, and it said, and of all that dwell therein, man. And America has slaughtered millions, okay, in their region of the Middle East, man. Men, women, and children. Some soldiers, all right, but a lot of men, women, and children. Okay. So this is a generation that was bred in war and hate. These militant groups that we see now, these men that are fighting in these military, they've lost everything due to Americans' war campaigns, man. Okay, you have these they're men now, okay, but they've lost fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers. Okay, they have nothing left to live for, man. A lot of them, man. Okay, so now you just seeing, all right, a resistance, okay, to America presence in that region, okay, and they're fearless, man. Okay, so I got one more video I want to go into. Play a little bit of it. Matter of fact, let me get that in Habakkuk. Get that in Habakkuk 1, because it goes into it as well. All right, this is Habakkuk 1, and I'll start at verse. All right, this is Habakkuk 1 and 6. It says, for lo, I will raise up the Chaldeans. Now, this happened, all right, during the Neo-Babylonian Empire, when the Lord raised up the ancient Babylonian Empire, to go forth and conquer. All right, well, we know America is the daughter of Babylon. Okay, Babylon the Great. So they're doing these things on even a much, broader scale. Okay, because the Neo-Babylonian Empire, it spread itself out across what they call the Mesopotamia region. Okay, but America has done this globally. Okay, for lo, I will raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. Okay, hasn't America done that? Okay, and Esau in general, they have what? Colonized the earth, what they call European colonization. Okay, but America itself, was stolen by these devils, man. From the tribes. Okay, all that was prophesied to happen. It said they are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves. Yeah, America has been a terror. All right, a terror and a dread to these nations, man. Because they was able to be so dominant for a long time. To nations that they didn't want no parts, man. And it said their judgment, their dignity shall proceed of themselves. And America has mastered propaganda to justify their wickedness throughout the earth, man. So it makes it seem like they're right, man. And we was all fooled, man. We thought, the whole 9/11 thing, we thought that was a righteous thing for them to go over there, man. Okay? There was just propaganda. This man has mastered propaganda, okay, to justify his wickedness, man. He'll present, the leader of a certain country as being inhumane and unjust, and he'll make it seem that the people are crying for some type of liberation, and then he shows up, man. Okay, verse 8, it says their horses also and military hardware, mainly the Air Force. Their horses also are swifter than leopards and are more fierce than the evening wolves. And their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from far, and they shall fly as an eagle that hasteth to eat. Okay, and this how this man's military has been extremely aggressive. He said they're more fierce than evening wolves, man. All right, because their U.S. Air Force will show up and just pummel your city, man. Okay, the U.S. military will show up and take you back to the Stone Ages, man. The Air Force, man. The eagle. It says they shall come out for violence. Their faces shall sup up the east wind, and they shall gather the captivity as the sand. Okay, and through U.S. military foreign policy, man. Okay, they've put these nations of the earth, in subjection, man, to the beast. Okay, and it says, and they shall scoff at kings, and the princes shall be a scorn unto them. They shall deride every stronghold, for they shall heap dust, all right, which is confusion, and take it. Okay, and this is what we're seeing. This is what we witnessed, man. Okay, they've pretty much scoffed at the leaders of these other nations, all right, the governments of these other nations, okay, and then and assimilated, okay, the world, okay, under the beast system, man. You see, they done tore down the strongholds and the traditions of the majority of these nations, man, and they have assimilated them to what, man? All right, they gave them that cup of Babylon. Okay, well, what you're seeing is what a resistance now. All right, and this is what we're living through, and ultimately is going to lead, to these nations just taking the gloves off and going and going all out, man. Okay, and America gonna respond. All right, but then it's gonna be a back and forth until America is turned to a desert, man. Okay, and Yahweh Shai shows up. All right, so I want to play a little bit of this.
The new way. By default.
Interesting things going on.
In the United States, 5G is continuing to expand.
I'm doing great, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yes, it's good to be back with you after your travels to Russia. Before we get to all of that, though, everyone, please do hit the like button. That helps boost this stream in the algorithm. Also, be sure to hit the subscribe button and go to the video description to find all the ways you can support this channel. But let's get right to it, Scott. So first, there is breaking news coming out of West Asia, the Middle East. You may be aware that a U.S. base claiming the U.S. is in Jordan was struck, killing 3 U.S. troops and injuring dozens more. Now, the Jordanian government has said this is not in Jordan where this attack occurred. It was a drone strike on this base, but that actually it occurred in Syrian territory. Now, there's breaking news here where at any moment, as we are speaking, the United States, 1 second, I have this, here we go. So the United States, U.S. officials are actually preparing for a retaliatory measure, retaliatory action against so-called Iran-backed groups and or Iran, which could begin in the next few days, consisting of waves of strikes against a range of targets, including Iranian and Iran-backed forces in Iraq and Syria, as well as Iranian naval assets in the Persian Gulf. So, Scott, what's your impression of this? This feels like another major escalation in what seems to be a powder keg in the Middle East that the United States and, of course, Israel, which really started this whole thing, has ignited.
Well, first and foremost, let's start with the American facility that was struck by this drone. You know, there. If you take a look at it, it's the Al Tanf facility, Area 55, I think they call it. It's an expanse of desert in Syria along the Syrian border with Jordan. The main facility is in Syria proper, and it's where the United States, together with some of their NATO or European allies, I think right now there might be a Norwegian presence there. They provide a training and assist mission to forces that we claim that what we're doing there is anti-ISIS, that we're taking on the Islamic State, but actually what we're doing is aligning ourselves with tribes in the region that used to be affiliated with the Islamic State, and
see what these devils do, because ISIS was created, to destabilize their region, all right, and set the scenario up for America to come in and be the hero, okay? And they still run with that lie to justify, having a presence in their region, okay? When ISIS, is set up not to fight against the small hats or, America, but they fight against, those different governments that aren't pro-American, that aren't pro-West. All right, in Syria you have al-Assad, okay, which is backed by Russia and Iran, okay, and that's why they wasn't able to take Syria, because of Russia and Iran, okay. So what you have in that region, those different military bases is America is just harboring troops, for a later attempt, to overthrow their government, okay. So this is what those troops are going out there for, man. All right, and what's happening is becoming more and more hostile, and now American troops are being targeted, man.
we're using these forces as part of our effort to destabilize the regime of President Bashar al-Assad, the president of Syria. We're there illegally. The Syrian government hasn't invited us into Syria as they have, for instance, the Russians or the Iranians. We're there illegally. We don't even have a legal authorization from the United States Congress to be there. We're just sort of there in this mission. And we have several hundred American troops there. The vast majority of them are at this base in Al Tanf. Right across the border, there's a number of facilities. There's a UN school that's out of business, but we've taken it over. We use it for logistics. And there's a place called Tower 22, where, again, we have some logistics things. We are claiming that the drone struck Tower 22, which would mean that it struck inside Jordanian territory. The Jordanian government saying, no, drone didn't strike inside Jordanian territory. It struck inside Syrian territory, where the vast majority of these American troops are. The fact that we continue to overemphasize that this was in Jordan just underscores how much we're lying. And how much we don't admit that we have an illegal presence inside Syria. that is impossible to just. So let's just start right off that the drone that struck this base struck American soldiers who are illegally on the ground in Syria, carrying out a mission that has nothing to do with countering ISIS and everything to do with this decades-long fantasy we have that somehow we can undermine and destabilize the regime of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. The base was struck as part of an ongoing effort by pro-Iranian militias, both in Syria and in Iraq, to punish the United States for its continued support of Israel and the ongoing genocide that Israel is perpetrating against the Palestinian people. And this is important because this strike didn't just happen out of the blue. There's been
and this goes into the least of the flock, drawing them out, because they are being attacked. America is being attacked based on what those small hats are doing. Okay, because the American troops been over them, and even though the people wanted them gone, they wasn't hostile, as far as military. It was understood that, they was unwanted over there, but they wasn't hostile, to those military bases, and since October 7th, okay, since those, all right, small hats, the IDF has been on their campaign against those Palestinians. Now you're seeing all these retaliatory attacks, man. Okay, so America is being attacked based on what those small hats are doing. Okay, and they're telling America, look, we're attacking you because y'all bagging the small hats, man. Going into the least of the flock, she'll draw them out. America is being dragged into a war. All right, based off the actions, all right, of the 48ers, man. Okay, and that's why scripture prophesy all these things, man. All right, so that was the point on that. He got some more information, pretty informative. I say this one of my go-to guys that I listen to, Scott Ritter. All right, so you can watch the rest of it. It's a good listen. You out walking or you riding around, headphones in, something to listen to and get some information. But yeah, let's get a few pre-sales, man. All right, because this is nothing but prophecy unfolding. All right, real time. So let's go here, which we always get. This is the book of Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah 49 and start at 20. All right, I'll just read 20. Say, therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord. You see, this is the counsel of Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shai. This is what he wants to happen, and it's happening. That he have taken against Edom. You see, now prophecy is working against Edom. When it was a Renaissance period, and it was time for him to reestablish. Okay, that beat the head that was wounded to death was being healed. Everything was working in his favor. Okay, but now the Lord has a counsel against this devil. All right, and his purposes, all right, that he have purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their desolations, their habitations desolate with them, because the least of the flock, these small hats, are drawing America into this conflict, which is going to go into a regional conflict. Okay, America and Iran, and then it's going to go global when Russia, all right, and China get involved. But then you're just going to have all these nations at war, man. Okay, and it's going to make the habitation, all right, the habitations of these Edomites desolate, man. America going to be finished. Okay, a desert. All right, and the EU nations going to get touched up as well. But the emphasis is going to be on America, man. Okay. This is what we see happening. All right, so let's get this. And Esau was always set up for failure. We're seeing, This man being set up for failure, man. Okay? Matter of fact, I think 73 is like. All right, this I started 16. Psalm 73 and 16. It says, when I thought to know this, it was too painful for me until I went into the sanctuary of the Most High, then understood I therein. So this is Asaph. He's complaining about the prosperity of the wicked. He's complaining about the prosperity. All right. And he can't see no end. And then when he vents to his people, they was offended. And he thought to himself, it was just too painful for him. But then it says, until he went into the sanctuary of the Most High, then understood out therein. Okay? And our sanctuaries in the scriptures and prophecy, man. This is why it's called the good news, man. Okay? Because when you look out to the earth, there's no good news for us in this society for us, man. Okay? But when you go into the scriptures, we find out good news, man. And then there's an end to the wicked. The triumphing of the wicked is short. Okay? The joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Okay? So these devils have an end. All right? And the scripture details what will be happening during the end, and we're seeing it. Okay? The least of the flock drawing them out. I will stir up the Medes against thee. Okay? And we're seeing these things happening, man. It says, surely thou didst set them in slippery places, thou castest them down into destruction. And the devil has been set up in slippery places, man. Okay? Everything that the devil, all right, has done to put himself in power, all right, by the same way, he's going to be undone. Because even those drones that they're using to strike those air bases, you got in 2011, Iran, it was a U.S. military spy drone flying over Iran going to Afghanistan, and the Iranian military, they hacked their drone and they landed it. They manipulated the GPS for their drone and they landed it in Iran. All right, and guess what? They reverse engineered their drone. And now Iran has one of the most sophisticated drone industries it is, man. Okay, even Russia get their drones from Iran. Okay, hey, them Persians smart as hell. Okay, I've listened to some things how they was able to intercept communications with those small hats, and they had people that talk their Yiddish, and they will give false, and they can give false commands to, the idea of military, man. So hey, them Persians got a lot of things working over there, man. All right, because they play a major part in prophecy, man, and taking down the devil, before they're enslaved by Yahushua. All right. It says, surely thou didst set them in slippery places, thou cast them down into destruction. How are they brought into desolation? As in a moment, they are utterly consumed with terrors. Okay? So this is what we're seeing. Okay, this devil, all right, is being consumed with terrors, man. It's going to continue to escalate and get worse and worse, man, until America's a desert and these devils are in chains, man, and these heathens, man. Okay? But we're living in that time. All right, verse 20 said, as a dream when one awaketh, so, O Lord, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image. Okay? Thou shalt despise their image. And what is this man trying to do, man? He's trying to create the earth in his image. Okay? But the Lord has prophecy fighting against this devil. Okay? The Lord despises this setup, man. The Lord hates this society, man. Okay, and he's from the wage war on it, and ultimately, the ultimate declaration of war, all right, is Yahweh Shai. You know, but really, it's the declaration of war when the prophets came out, man. Okay, and declared spiritual war on this devil. All right, but it's all leading to his overthrow. So that was the point, you know, Lord will, you know, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the whole elect. Shalom.